You know, it's always interesting going back and looking at Nintendo leak lists and seeing what came true and what didn't, like the Kirby game or the Nintendo 64 game for the Nintendo Switch Online service. Because it makes you wonder what else could be right, what else are we going to be getting, like the Oracle of Season remake or Twilight Princess and the Legend of Zelda Wind Waker on the Nintendo Switch, or even that 3D Donkey Kong on the Switch as well. Hey guys, it's Rob here, and welcome back to the Robo Show, where we cover the latest gaming news, leaks, and rumors from Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo in 2020 and beyond. If you want to be kept up on the latest gaming news, make sure you click that red subscribe button below this video and that notification bell so you know when I upload. And if you're interested, I have a Patreon, which link to that will be in the pinned comment along with my Twitter account. In this video, we are going to take a look at past Nintendo Switch leaks from new Marco Maro, who gave a ton of new Nintendo Switch games to look forward to in 2022 and beyond. We will talk about what came right, what came wrong, and talk about the games that have yet to pass, and if they could still pass. If you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like, it helps the video reach more viewers when you do, and if you want to help me reach my goal of 800 followers on Twitter, you can follow me at RoboRob93. Without further delay, let's get to the video. So Nintendo has been giving us game after game, hit after hit. We have had a ton of great Nintendo games like Monster Hunter Rise, No More Heroes 3 despite some of the performance problems it has. We had Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, which gave us a better look into the world of Breath of the Wild, with huge games on the way like Metroid Dread in 2 weeks, which I might stream day one if you guys want to see some initial gameplay. But other things like Nintendo 64 games announced at the recent Nintendo Direct, a full-blown 3D Kirby, and finally, after 4 years of waiting, a new Bayonetta 3 trailer. But you know what's even more crazy? Some of these things were leaked out early in one shape or form on a specific list by new Marco Maro. But I think the question that we have to ask is how much of this came true, how much is it going to come true, and what could come true next? And of course, what is wrong as well. So let's take a look at the first tweet, and this is what it says. Kirby's next big adventure is something to be expected in 2022, game designed as a 3D adventure with RPG elements. Now, as you guys may know, a new 3D Kirby was recently revealed at the September Nintendo Direct. Kirby and the Forgotten Land is coming out in spring of 2022. Taking a look at the new Marco Maro leak, they do line up pretty closely. He was correct about the 2022 date, he was also correct about the 3D Kirby part as well. Something that Nintendo hasn't done for a long time with Kirby, and something that you can't really guess easily. Interestingly enough, the Kirby trailer didn't show off any gameplay with RPG elements, but it didn't show off really any new mechanics either. And as we know with these new games, they usually introduce a new mechanic or something that's specific to that game. So those RPG elements could be shown in further trailers for Kirby. But anyways, moving on to the next one, he talks about Bayonetta 3, and this is what he says. Bayonetta 3 not being shown at E3 was really weird since I heard the game was in its final stages of development. There is stuff ready to be shown in September or late this year. They will release the first trailer. There will also be 1 to 2 PG ports ready and waiting on the bench. As we know, Bayonetta 3 was shown with full gameplay at the Nintendo Direct. Though if I'm being completely honest with you guys, I do struggle to call this correct, even though what he said did happen. And that is specifically because of the part where he says in September or late this year they will release the first trailer. Him adding late this year pretty much secures himself to become right, especially after the news of Bayonetta 3 being ready to be shown and Platinum Games wanting to show it but Nintendo saying no, which was some Nintendo news that I covered. For those who probably will write in the comment section, all you do is cover Nintendo rumors and leaks. You guys know who you are. Now the 1 to 2 Platinum Game ports has yet to come, but early speculation, if this Nintendo leak is true, perhaps we can get a Nier Automata and Star Fox Adventure. I think Star Fox Adventure has a very good chance actually, and here's why. Recently, the head of Platinum Games told VGC this. The important thing to remember there is that because it's a Nintendo IP, the ideas are coming from Miyamoto himself. If the opportunity comes up to bring Star Fox Zero to the Switch again, it would be more of a question of what would he like to do in that opportunity. And of course, we would respect that again. So we have Platinum Games actively talking about porting this game to the Nintendo Switch, so I think it has a good chance. Moving on to the next one, we have the Zelda games. This is something that a lot of you guys want. In fact, a lot of you guys came from videos when I talk about the Zelda games. This is what the tweet says, and it's actually really good news. As I said before, even if Nintendo said no more Zelda games for the anniversary, Wind Waker and Twilight Princess are done for a while, so they will come sooner or later. Don't know anything about Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask HD, but something about the Nintendo 64 versions that maybe we will know later this year. Now first off, he said even if Nintendo says no more Zelda 35th anniversary, for those who are going to type in the comments section about the words that Nintendo used at the E3 Nintendo Direct and the Zelda stuff, just know that I think and others even big channels like SpawnWave think that Zelda games are still coming, and it has appeared in this Nintendo leak again. With that being said, the focus isn't Twilight Princess or Wind Waker, but this part, the part about the Nintendo 64 games. This part has come correct. We are getting both of these games as Nintendo 64 versions via the Nintendo Switch Online service, which was covered in the last video on the news of the Nintendo Direct. Again guys, I do cover news. So this was correct, but as for the other two games, they are still coming, he says, so if this Nintendo leak is real, we may get them eventually. If you guys want to know how or when or why Nintendo would hold off on such huge games for the Switch, click the top right corner of this video and you'll be brought to that answer. And moving on to the next tweet, he says this: as I stated a year ago, there will be a remake for Oracle of Ages and Seasons in the work, 2022 through 2023. There were plans to include a third game that was planned originally for the Game Boy Color. Now these have not come to pass at all, but there is still a possibility that it could come true. He says in 2022 through 2023, so sometime in 2022 we should hear about it. And again, if we don't, this is wrong. Next up, let's talk about some Metroid Prime, and this is what it said. Metroid Prime Collection should be ready for the first half of 2022, even if it's finished since ages ago. I heard they included more stuff since then, so it's not 100% Metroid Prime Trilogy Wii HD. First look at Metroid Prime later on. The game is 65% of its development cycle. Now this you can kind of take two ways, either it can come true or it can be considered wrong. So this is something that has not yet come true, but also can be considered wrong. The Metroid Prime Trilogy seems to follow the same pattern as the 2D Metroid, rumored for years and years and years it seems. But there is always a chance that it could come true. Having the Metroid Prime Trilogy being ready for the first half of 2022 is perfect timing to announce their trilogy right after Metroid Dread. If Metroid Dread is the success I think it will be, there will be a lot of hype around the series, which will include the Metroid Prime series as well, with it being the same character from Metroid Dread and the Metroid Prime 4 and all the Metroid games. Essentially having that Mario effect that Mario has with all these games and that he's obtained over the years. And moving on to the next one, we have something for you Donkey Kong fans. DK 2D New Adventure is one of the big hits for next year, still unclear when since it was planned for holiday season some time ago, but will make sense to use it as a closing or opening. Splatoon 3 should come next summer. Now fun fact about this, it is rumored that there's supposed to be a Donkey Kong game made by the same people who made the Mario Odyssey game, which would be really cool, but I don't want them to go 2D. We've had enough 2D Donkey Kong games. I think it's time to step to 3D just like Kirby did. Another interesting thing about this tweet is the last part. Splatoon 3 should be ready early next summer. If early next summer is the release date, I can see that happening. From the trailers, it looks to be pretty far along, but I'd have to say I'm wondering if the way they cut that trailer in the recent Nintendo Direct was to match some of the unfinished parts. Either way, it seems that the game does seem to be developing along pretty smoothly, and I'm really excited for this because this is going to be my first Splatoon game. Unless I end up buying Splatoon 2, that is. Now there is a tweet about Famicom Detective Club, but it really isn't much to go off of. He pretty much just says that Buddy Mission Bond won't get a localization because Famicom Detective Club only reached 25k worldwide, which is really bad. He also says Style Boutique will hit the Switch around Christmas, which will be early 2022, which we haven't gotten yet, but again, he says early 2022, so they could reveal it at a Nintendo Direct in December or something. But to be honest, I highly doubt that's gonna happen, so I'd consider this just to be wrong. Now, for you Pikmin fans, he also has something for you. This is what he said. Pikmin 4 was a game with many years of work behind it and one official restart, around 2016 through 2017, similar to Metroid Prime 4. Finally, the game is very close to being finished. Now, this is something that we haven't heard of in a very long time. I mean, the last time we heard about Pikmin is from the port that we got a while back with Pikmin 3 Deluxe. I would probably consider this wrong for now, seeing as they probably would have announced this eventually that it still is in development. I mean, even a CGI trailer like Bayonetta 3 would have happened. And the last one is on Detective Pikachu. Detective Pikachu 2 will make a trailer debut early next year alongside the first one that will be ported to the Switch. Gen 9 unlikely to happen in 2022 since there is a Pokemon Let's Go sequel planned for later next year. Pokemon Pinball will make a comeback in some way somewhere. Now, interestingly enough, it is rumored that Game Boy Color games are coming back, so Pokemon Pinball could come back that way. But the rest of his tweet was completely wrong because we haven't gotten anything Pokemon other than the remake and Legends. So I would consider this completely wrong. Overall, guys, I think some of these were correct and some of these were wrong, and some have yet to come true. I think when it comes to New Marco Mario, his Nintendo leaks are pretty spotty, but oftentimes more than not, he does get some of them right. Now, whether this is his info or stuff he found from other people is something we will never really know, but is always a possibility. Oh, and by the way, if you reach this part of the video, here is a cookie. I haven't done this for a while actually, now that I think about it. Make sure you put those cookie emojis in the comment section below if you received a cookie. My junk food day is actually coming up, so I might buy cookies as well. Oh, and by the way, I do have a small project going on the side other than these recent videos. It's basically me and my friend discussing the Pokemon trailers with full-on animation, and here's a rough draft of what the characters are going to look like, just my character personally. His character is going to be an Espeon, so kind of try to imagine an Espeon version of this. And don't worry, this character isn't going away either, we're still keeping that. I just want to kind of branch out my animation and try different characters for different videos. Anyways, thanks for watching guys, and if you enjoyed this video, leave a thumbs up, and of course subscribe for more videos. And of course, comment your thoughts in the comment section below. Thanks for watching guys, and remember, stay safe, stay charged, and have a good one.